Amatrice has been hit hard in Italy by a 6.2 earthquake. You were looking at the swarm that has been happening ever since this initial 6.2 hit around 3:30 in the morning local time, the worst time to hit at night for these people in Italy. Now, this was felt over 100 miles away. Since this quake hit, there has been a 6.8 magnitude earthquake strike in Mynamar. Now, I want to show you some of the damage done here. As you can see, buildings have been reduced to rubble. This is an aerial shot of the whole town. And here's a side-by-side, and you can see the destruction. Some of these places absolutely leveled, at least 38 killed, 150 tremors since the initial quake. Now, what I've noticed here, and I do not know the exact fault line layout of this area, but I noticed an odd pattern popping up once again with the swarm. As you can see, we have a line here that cuts straight up through here. And this line is a line, just like this one, that these quakes are falling on. Now, what's interesting is these lines, you can see, go across this way in a perfect line. And what are the odds of this? And once again, going down in a perfect line. All these quakes hitting on a line. All of them being lined up in a pattern, so to speak. Now, like I said, I don't know the fault line layout in this area, but these strange earthquake swarm patterns we've been seeing here lately, I caught them twice in California, once in Southern California, once in Central California. Unlike many of the swarms we've seen before that will pop off kind of sporadic. Now, you see how these quakes would be situated kind of like all over the place? Now, it's true, fault lines do run in certain directions, and you would pick up a pattern if they were hitting along that line. But a lot of the faults that run don't run completely straight. They cut, they curve, they end, they meet other ones. And in California specifically, the pattern that we saw was not matching the fault lines, meaning there was something else going on to cause a grid-like type pattern with these quakes in the quake swarms. Once again, we have a grid pattern. It's undeniable here. As to what's causing it, it's still up for debate, but I want to point it out. It's happening this time in Italy, and I'm sure these tremors are going to continue. I'm going to continue to watch the swarm and the pattern. I'm going to try to pull up some older fault maps just to see if I can find an overlay of the quake pattern and these faults. If I do, I'll be sure to show you. If I don't, I'm going to share it with you guys. Once I do that, that way we can rule out what it may be and what it may not be. And it's a starting ground. But either way, prayers are going out for the people in Italy that are dealing with this massive quake, 6.2, and it's really about where it hits. As you can see, those buildings were reduced to rubble. And I'll just have to continue updating as I get more information on this. Let's take Central Italy. I want to take one quick look at the depth so you guys can see. These are all 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in the depth, maybe 11. When it comes to all these Italy quakes, and there is the 6.8 that hit 3 hours ago in Mynamar. So once again, the prayers going out to all those affected in this quake. That's why I always say, have a plan. You never know when disaster will strike. And if you're in an earthquake-prone region, it's wise to have that plan. We've talked about it many, many times before. And for those that have missed our new sponsor, make sure to check out the Essential Drugstore. Finally got a connection for medicine, supplies, antibiotics, and all the stuff that we need to be able to stock up on in case of an emergency. And we now got a great connection here through them. I'll leave links. It's been Dabu7.